What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, please be sure to hit that subscribe button below to help me out. It would help me a lot as I grow this brand new channel of mine. And with that said, let's just get into it. Today I'm going to be giving my top 10 wide receiver rankings for the 2021 NFL Draft. I'll just go through each of the top 10 from 10 to 1, talking about what I think these players' biggest strengths and weaknesses are, and just overall who they are as a player and why I have them ranked the way they are. So without further ado, let's just get right into it at number 10. So my number 10 ranked receiver in the 2021 NFL Draft is Jalen Darden out of North Texas. Jalen Darden is a very good slot receiver who's just a very quick, very athletic, very great in and out of his routes, but the problem with him is he's a pure slot receiver. So his strength is one of his biggest weaknesses, and because of that and his size, he's just going to be a perfect fit in the slot. So for any team who's looking to add some wide receiver depth on day 2, I'm looking at the Green Bay Packers, who already have their guy Devontae Adams and just looking to add more weapons to that offense. Jalen Darden would be a great pickup for them on day 2, just a guy they can plug and play in the slot. He can catch those intermediate routes from Aaron Rodgers, and overall he could even take screens for a big gain because of his yak ability. So overall, I think Jalen Darden could be a great pickup for a team looking to add a wide receiver on day 2, but he's not going to be a number 1. He's just a slot number 2 gadgety type guy that could play a huge role in someone's offense. So my number 9 ranked receiver is Dyami Brown out of North Carolina. Dyami Brown, the number one thing I can use to describe him is deep threat. Dyami Brown is one of the best pure deep threat receivers in this draft class. His deep route running is definitely his best trait without a doubt, and his release package and just his overall refined route running on those deep go routes and post routes and all those other types of deep routes. He's just overall the best deep route runner in this class. I think I can safely, comfortably say that. But that's his weakness also. Like, it's his strength that he's a great deep route runner, but it's also his weakness that he had no intermediate routes on his tape. He was literally just going deep on almost every play. So Dyami Brown, I think he can be a great fit for a team somewhere, and I don't know if he can run intermediate routes because I never saw it on his tape. I could hardly find it on his tape. So Dyami Brown, great deep route runner, excellent release package, but he's untested on those intermediate routes, so I frankly don't know how he's going to do on that. Now, at the next level, he could excel in that area, and then he could end up being some really good day 2 steal. But for now, Dyami Brown just receives a second round grade for me just because of the question mark of his ability to run intermediate routes. So my number 8 receiver is Nico Collins out of Michigan. Nico Collins is a great physical contested catch guy who I think is going to be an excellent day 2 steal. Nico Collins can be a number 1. I truly believe that he can be a number 1 outside receiver because of his physicality, ability to win at the line of scrimmage, his contested catch ability. You just lob the ball up to him up the sideline, he's coming down with it. So that's a great upside, but then the weakness with him is that he's just not a refined route runner. Coming in and out of his breaks, snapping down on a hitch route or cutting inside on an in route or outside on an out route, you know what I mean. He's just not really refined in that aspect, but again, that's something you can work on, and it's not like he's terrible in that aspect, it's just his biggest weakness. So Nico Collins, great number 1 receiver, could be a day 2 steal for someone. His physicality, his contested catch ability are his biggest strengths, and his biggest weakness is that not refined route running that you would like to see. So my number 7 receiver is Elijah Moore out of Ole Miss. I love Elijah Moore a lot, and I think he can truly be like one of the steals in this draft because he's probably going to go late first, early second. Elijah Moore, he has outside slot versatility, which I think is the best thing about him, is that he can play outside or in the slot. And a lot of people are saying he's only going to be a slot guy, and I disagree. I think Elijah Moore can safely play on the outside. He's physical, he's very strong, very tough. His speed, agility, and route running, again, just a very great attribute, but his weakness is going to be his size. He's just a little bit undersized for the receiver position, but I don't think that's stopping him from playing well on the outside. The guy is just overall a very well-rounded receiver, and if he can overcome his height and getting jammed at the line of scrimmage with his release, I think he can be a number 1 for sure. So my number 6 ranked receiver is Rondale Moore out of Purdue. Rondale Moore is one of my favorite receivers in this draft, and I only have him ranked low because of the fact that he's small and is really only going to play in the slot. Now, I think he's easily the most athletic receiver in this draft class, and I honestly would make a case for him being one of the top 5 most athletic players in this draft period. The guy had a ridiculous pro day if you go look at his numbers, and he's also very physical for his size. If you watch his tape, he's always stiff-arming and trucking like linebackers. So Rondale Moore at his size, very athletic, the best athlete receiver in this draft class, very physical, but his weaknesses are his small size and his slot. He's a pure slot receiver. I don't really see him playing on the outside just because he's 5'7", I think it was. So Rondale Moore, great athlete, excellent physicality. Weaknesses are his height and just his pure slot receiver type, which is why I have him ranked so low, even though I love him a lot as a prospect. So at number 5, I have Rashad Bateman out of Minnesota as my wide receiver 5. Rashad Bateman brings a lot to the table as just a true overall number 1 X receiver. He has a great release package, he has great route running and agility, and his yards after the catch are very underrated as a trait of his. Now, his biggest weakness for me is his inconsistent catching. When I was watching his tape, whenever he made a really nice catch, he would follow it up with an open drop. Like, sometimes he would make incredible contested catches, and then the next play you see him drop a wide open pass. So that's my biggest concern with Bateman, is just overall his inconsistency catching the ball. But again, just hit the drugs machine, work on that. That's something that can be fixed. So I truly do see Rashad Bateman as a great late day one steal who can play a number 1 outside receiver role for any team looking to add that receiver. So at number 4, and a little bit lower than the consensus, I have Devontae Smith out of Alabama. Now, just because I have him ranked low doesn't mean I don't like Devontae Smith. I love Devontae Smith. And he's just overall one of the smoothest, most natural receivers in this draft class. Just when you watch his tape, it's so natural. Just everything he does, his route running is just so smooth. He doesn't really have to put too much effort into it. His route running is so smooth, and he just goes up and gets contested catches and makes catches look like nothing. And then when you hit him with a screen, he literally just outruns everybody. So Devontae Smith, very smooth, very natural receiver, and one of the most productive in this draft class. Now the issue with him is his size, and that's what everybody's been talking about. His ability to get off press man is not ideal at all, and we haven't seen him against press man that much because in Alabama, Nick Saban was scheming up ways for him to get the ball without having to deal with that lack of physicality he had. Just his concern is, I don't know if he's truly going to be that number 1 X receiver because of his inability to get off press man, but as a, just a weapon on your offense, maybe a number 2 who can play in the slot or play in the outside. You can throw him screens. Just overall, he's just an excellent weapon and just a great overall player. I could go on and on about how smooth and ridiculously talented this guy Devontae Smith is. But yeah, Devontae Smith, my wide receiver 4, doesn't mean I'm low on him, just means that I have some concerns that I don't have with the guys ranked ahead of him. So at number 3, I have Terrace Marshall Jr. out of LSU. I made a video completely breaking down at Terrace Marshall, so I'll put that in the iCard up top or in the description or both, and you can go check that out after you're done with this video. But Terrace Marshall Jr., just one of the most well-rounded receivers in this draft class. Just got the best catch radius I've ever seen. Excellent release package, inside slot versatility, and his route running technique is just very refined. So I think Terrace Marshall Jr., one of the more underrated receivers in this draft class, and he gets an early first-round grade for me. So Terrace Marshall, great number 1 X receiver, and I think with a little bit of work in the weight room, this guy can be a Julio-esque type player, and that's not an exaggeration. So at number 2, I have Jalen Waddle out of Alabama, and Jalen Waddle and number 1, Jamar Chase, are really not that big of a gap. Jalen Waddle has excellent speed and twitch. It's ridiculous. Now, the thing I wanted to stress and highlight with Jalen Waddle is that he is not your next John Ross or Henry Ruggs. I mean, Henry Ruggs, we haven't seen him play enough at the NFL level to make a decision yet, but I thought that Henry Ruggs was just sorry Raiders fans, but I thought Henry Ruggs was just a pure deep threat and didn't really, bring to the table what we wanted from him in year 1. So Jalen Waddle, he's not Henry Ruggs, he's not John Ross. He brings a lot more to the table as an overall receiver than those guys did. His speed and twitch is number 1, just his best thing, and his agility and route running. When you watch his route running, he's just so smooth and quick out of his breaks because of that twitch. And he's also able to go up and get contested catches, which is not something that John Ross was particularly good at. And his production in college was ridiculous. The guy put up great numbers whenever he was healthy. Now, his biggest weaknesses are his experience because the guy really didn't play that much overall. And last year in 2019, he didn't get much opportunities because of how stacked that wide receiver core was with Jerry Jeudy and with Henry Ruggs. So, Jalen Waddle, overall, great well-rounded receiver. And I'm just a huge fan of Jalen Waddle's, and his injury history is another concern because of all the injuries he got last year, but not too big of a concern again. Jalen Waddle, my wide receiver 2, just an overall excellent player. Now, at number 1, I have Jamar Chase. Not too uncommon of a take here. Jamar Chase, just the most well-rounded receiver in this draft. Contested catches are his best attribute. The guy does not... You lob the ball up to him, he's going to come down with it. He has excellent route running. And my biggest concern with him before his pro day was his athleticism. I thought he wasn't too fast on tape, but he proved me wrong. His pro day was incredible. And his production, again, just the best in this class, easily. Maybe Devontae Smith could put up a fight with the production aspect of it, but Jamar Chase's 2019 campaign was ridiculous. Now, if I had to nitpick and pick a weakness, it would be that he benefited from Joe Burrow in 2019. Joe Burrow was placing the ball perfectly and helping him out a lot, but that's not too big of a concern for me because of just all the other stuff that Jamar Chase brings to the table. I think Jamar Chase is easily a top 5, top 6 type of guy. So, Jamar Chase, my wide receiver 1. So that's it. What do you guys think of my rankings? Please let me know in the comments what you thought. When it comes to my rankings and evaluations, I really just try to keep it based 100% on what I saw on tape and what I think, not what Mel Kiper tells me I should think or what other NFL draft analysts online tell me I should think. So these are just my rankings based on what I saw on tape. So let me know in the comments what you guys thought. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next video.